Good morning. I'm Tirojini Chandimali, and a special final year student of the Department of Library and Information Science. You all are joining with the ICLIM 2021 webinar series, webinar number 2. I'm so pleased to meet you and have the chance to introduce our speaker, Dr. Mrs. Namali Zuruvira. She will be talking about the literature review and the use of the reference management tools to improve citation and reference list. Well, when we're speaking about the Dr. Zuruvira, she is one of the respected past student of the Department of Library and Information Science, University of California, as well as Victoria University, Wellington, New Zealand. She is Digital Teaching and Learning Tea, serving the head senior lecturer, Department of Library and Information Science, and coordinator, Diploma in Information Management and Technology, and also acting director, the Interfaculty Center for Coordinating Modular System, University of California. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming Dr. Namali Zuruvira, speaker for today's webinar. The virtual screen is yours, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, Tirojini, and very good morning to you all. And I would also like to welcome you all for this webinar on behalf of the Department of Library and Information Science, as well as from the on behalf of the Alumni Association of the Department of Library and Information Science. Right. So as you all aware, so today our topic is talk about the roadmap for a literature review and the use of reference management tools in order to improve the citations and the reference list in our academic writing. Whenever you submit your thesis or the abstract or maybe the conference paper, so we need to figure out all these things. So that's why we are organizing such a topic to deliver under the webinar series under the International Conference of Library and Information Management. Right. So I will go to my first slide, and then I will show you what will be the outline of the today's presentation. Right. So as you can see from the screen, today I'm going to talk about from A to E. That means I will give you kind of motivational note that because everybody is a little bit having a kind of problem of conducting literature review and also adding some sort of references to your academic writing. Right. So then I will give you a motivational note for you, and to say as well as I will talk about the realities about the literature review in the existing academic world. And also I will point out why we should conduct a literature review, as well as when we are conducting literature review, what sort of stages that we could pass, and then it will definitely add the advantage or the value for your academic writing and also for your thesis that you are going to produce. And also, finally, I'll talk about the roadmap. That's a kind of a structure that I'm giving because it will easy for you, maybe as a student, maybe as an academic. So you all can follow up that such a structure in order to conduct the literature review nicely. And that will be the first half of this session. And the second half of the session, I will do the practical session. And then I will let you know how are we going to use the Microsoft Word reference management tool as well as Zotero in order to develop the in order to develop your reference list, or maybe in how you could manage your online reference management tool by yourself. Okay, so this will be the outline of the today's presentation. And while I am delivering such things for you, if you have any clarification, please feel free to add your questions into the chat box. If not, when I'm asking if there are any clarifications going on, so then you could actually ask the questions at the same moment, right? Okay, so I will move to the first stage as a motivational note. So motivational note means everybody, or maybe majority of the students, they start the literature review with the negative mind. So that's what we need to minimize such a negative form of attitude, right? So if you have such skills with literature review, for example, as I mentioned here, writing literature review is easy, right? It is easy with the right skills. So if you do not have the right skills, then you are little bit confused about how I'm going to conduct the literature review, and then what sort of stages that I have to pass, and what is the purpose of doing literature review and so on. There are lots of struggling going on. So then obviously the literature review part is really easy if you have such right skills. So that's why students, and also maybe the early career academics, young researchers, they are having little bit a problem of conducting quality literature survey for your study, right? So that's the focus of this webinar, and I will try my best to give all the information, all the strategies, all the skills within 2 hours. So then at the end of these 2 hours, I believe that you will be able to conduct your literature review successfully, and then you will get lots of advantage from the webinar. So that's the motivational note from the webinar today. Right. Yeah, and then our next one is talk about the realities about the literature review. So what's going on right now, right? We'll see. Okay, so these are the real truth about the literature review. For example, in our coursework, or maybe while we are following such a postgraduate courses, or maybe if we need to submit kind of article or research paper to the conference, right? So whatever the things that we need to achieve, there are some sort of skills lacking, that because some of the coursework, or maybe the degree programs, they are not allowing such time to talk about the skills of the writing literature review, right? So that's kind of truth we need to accept. And the other one is, we need to identify, as a researcher, right? Or maybe other researchers, why you need a literature review. So there is a little, it's a very lack of discussion going on among the researchers about doing literature review. So we have to have the academic discussion regarding how you should conduct the literature review, and then what sort of difficulties are there, and how we could conduct those things very nicely, what are the strategies and so on. So we should have a very good academic discussion. So that's kind of lacking part. I think that's another objective of organizing this event. And the other reality is about when we conduct the literature review, again, the students having very lack of understanding about what sort of literature that I am looking for. What is the target? What is the purpose of doing the literature review? So without having such understanding, we won't be able to conduct the literature review with the quality, because we will then lose, or maybe allocate lots of time of finding literature, but that will not impact to your research or the academic writing, or maybe writing your research paper, right? So those kind of realities, truths are existing in the society. And the other one is, even though we talk about the literature review process in the coursework, or maybe the degree program, we are talking in a little bit ad hoc way. For example, yes, we'll take the research in as an example, and then we'll show you, or maybe we guide you as a student, and then how we could do so. But there are very lack of information, or maybe there are no place. There are maybe talk about, or maybe share some of the stages of conducting literature review. For example, if we have the very solid structure of conducting literature review, then as a student or the early career researcher, you know that what comes next and what stages that I am doing. So that's why I'm trying my best to introduce the kind of roadmap for you to follow up with the literature review process. So this is the reality about the literature review. I hope you also having some sort of problems regarding the same situations. Okay, right. And our third topic is about why we should conduct a literature review. So before we explain about how are we going to do the literature review, we need to again identify the objectives of conducting a literature review. Right. So as you can see in this screen, there are 6 objectives I have given here. Those are really important. There will be many more objectives, but in order to carry out our research, or in order to carry out our postgraduate studies, postgraduate research, or maybe the early career research, whatever. So these 6 components are really important. That's why we are conducting a literature review. Okay, so the first one is literature review. We need to conduct a literature review, that because it provides the interpretation of the existing literature. That's true, no? Because just assume that you would like to conduct a research on maybe information literacy, or maybe digital literacy, right? Yeah, and then at the initial stage, you may not have such kind of very wide understanding about the topic, right? As a term, as a word, you know about the information literacy and maybe the concept and the model and so on. But in order to conduct the research, right, in order to conduct the particular study, you may not having such a good background understanding about the topic. So that's where we should start, and then we need to read more about the topic to identify the literature, right? Existing literature on the topic. And the other one is it helps or maybe it brings out the difference or dialects between or contradictions between the various thought. So when you are reading more about the information literacy, so I just got one example, right? So if you are reading more about the information literacy, then you may come up with the different ideas, right? So the research conduct in the Sri Lankan context talking something else, and then the literature, those published in the UK content or the Australia or whatever, right? Developed or developing countries, Asian country context. So they studied information literacy research in a different way, right? So when you are reading such papers, or maybe just assume that you are reading 10 to 12 research papers, right? Then you will be able to identify the scenarios going on with the information literacy and what are the contradictions between those concepts, right? Maybe the whatever the way that we use in the information literacy in the Sri Lankan context may not be used in the other developed countries. So they will be using in a different way. So you won't be able to identify those contradiction ideas if you are not conducting the literature review in a quality way, right? So that contradictions, that ideas are really important for you to start your research. So that's again really important. And next one is, it indicates, I mean, the literature review help us to identify the current research place in the schema of the particular field. I mean, if I am going to do the study on information literacy, then I should know where my research place, right? Where my research is going to be placed on in the existing literature. Because if I am doing the research that one of my seniors also done the same research in within a couple of years back or something like that, so it's going to be the replications. We can do the repetitions as well, but in a different way, right? So we need to see, after I completing my research, is there any value will be added to my study? Because we can understand that while figuring out all the literature that published in the same area, okay? And the other one is, it helps calculating the impact of the latest information. Yes, obviously, as a researcher, definitely you need to aware of the up-to-date information. Otherwise, you will be in a problem when you are conducting your research. You will be not figuring out the latest information, and then it will definitely impact on your research, right? And the other one is research gaps scrutinized initially are further explored, right? So as you aware very clearly, in order to conduct this study, research again, you need to identify the research problem. So while you are conducting the literature review, so your identified research problem again can be modified, right? So sometimes we are starting our research with our own experience, because research problem can be start according to our own experience as well. Although if we have the own experiences, again, we need to have a literature to support our argument, right? As a researcher, I can't saying that, in information literacy skills they are very lacking according to our undergraduates in the University of California or whatever, right? So as a researcher, I can't say that a statement without having support from the literature. So again, although we have identified the research problem according to my own experiences, right? Again, we need to get the support from the literature to support that argument. If not, again, literature will help us to identify the research problem even, right? So while we are reading the other research that published in the world, we can read and then identify what are the research problems that they have focused on. Maybe the same research problem can be focused in the Sri Lankan context too, right? So then we will be able to identify the research gap very clearly, and also in the same area, according to the same subject topic. So we know that what has already conducted and then what is the lacking area. So again, we need to identify those lacked areas as well while we are conducting the quality literature review. Okay, so the last one is it provides information for the relevancy and coherency, right? So that's really true, because when we're reading a research article or research project, we will be able to identify who has conducted the literature review well and not. Because your text, your content, that definitely shows the wealth of information that you retrieved from the literature, right? So in order to conduct the quality research, that's why we should have a literature review part, right? In order to conduct the quality research, that's why we should have we should conduct a literature review properly, right? Okay, so I will move to the next one. Right, so it's about the development of the literature review. So I'll move into that topic again. Right, here we go. So then there are kind of 4 stages identified in the research arena. When we conduct the literature review, there are 4 stages of development, right, while doing a literature review. So what are the 4 stages? So it will help us to formulate the research problem and also search for relevant literature, as we discussed earlier, and also evaluate and appraising the literature, right? That means we are not just taking all the information from everywhere. So as a researcher, we should have an ability to think whether those research papers are quality enough. Are they good enough to carry out my study, or do I need to remove that from my reference list, right? So we need to, we will be able to evaluate such quality literature while we are conducting such literature review by ourselves as well. So that's what again we need to improve from our side. And the other one is analyzing and synthesizing the sources, because when you are conducting your study, right, there is a kind of place that we need to see different arguments, and then we need to figure out okay, so what I have identified, and then what other researchers already identified. If I identified something new, or if I identified the same thing that previous researchers also identified, right? So you know that in the discussion section, that's what we are focusing on, right? So these are the kind of 4-stage development of the literature review. So if you are a researcher that you are trying to start your research project just now, or if you are conducting your research right now, so you need to focus on these 4 areas with your a study, right? In order to formulation of your research problem, searching relevant literature for your study, and also evaluating the literature in order to tally, in order to carry out your research project well, and also analyzing and synthesizing the sources. So I hope by now you have a very good understanding about the literature review and the focus of the literature review too, right? So then I will move to the main focus of the webinar today. That's about the roadmap of the literature review, right? So this is what I'm trying to introduce for you to kind of have a structure to follow up the literature review process, right? So if you have these structure in your mind, then you won't be go here and there, right? So you can save your time and you can focus on whatever the activities that you want to follow, right? So you know that it's starting from developing search terms, because in order to carry out the literature review, we should have a purpose. I mean, especially for the research, right? If you are conducting the literature review for the research purpose, then obviously we should have a purpose. We should have a understanding about what area that I'm going to figure out, at least some of the keywords, some of the synonyms, right? So in the search, when we searching information, we are not looking at the other areas. So we just focus on our research, right? Otherwise, you will be find difficulties of finding time as well. I know that some of the researchers, without having the purpose, if they start the researching, so they will spend maybe day by day or maybe week by week, right? But they won't be able to get nothing. That because they don't have the real established purpose. When we start searching through Google or the relevant databases, again, we know that what is the issue at our hand, because we will spend lots of time. Okay, right. The first time, I mean, just focus on my topic that I have given, just like information literacy, right? So I want to search research project on information literacy. But when I start off Googling or maybe search relevant databases without having a purpose, so I can start with the information literacy, and obviously I will end up with searching something else. That because I don't have a such purpose, right? So that will happen, that could happen. Therefore, this structure again will guide you properly. So that means you need to start with the search terms. So you need to develop your search terms by yourself, and I'll show you how to do that. And the second one, you need to have the search strategies again, right? So without having a search strategies, again, you have to maybe spend a lot more time on identifying relevant literature for your study. So you cannot waste time, because time is really important for everybody, right? Especially during these days. So then you need to identify how I'm going to save my time and then access the really quality literature for my study. So that purpose, you definitely should improve your search strategies, right? And third one, you need to identify your primary source of the information on your research topic, about your research topic, about your research area. And the fourth one is, after we downloading relevant research reports, relevant research articles for our study, then we need to start on reading what will be the best suit with my study, and then what are the studies that I do not want to look at this stage, right? So then that means read the abstract and to narrow the sources if needed. That means, for example, at the end of the search, so you will come up with maybe 30 relevant articles, right? But then when you go inside and then read one by one, then you will identify only maybe 10 articles will be best suit with your study. So then definitely that other 20 need to be removed from your savings, right? So then again, you will be focusing just only 10 literature, maybe not the literature, 10 research articles, right? So then the fifth step will be, after you identifying all these relevant research articles, then you have to start summarizing in paragraph form. So I will show you everything with the examples as well, right? And you need to summarize them in a paragraph form. So you need to identify what are the most information, relevant information for your study, and then what can be grabbed from each article for my study, what will be the important information, right? Including citations. And after that, you can develop the thematically focused table. We are naming like that, thematically focused table. So that's where we are summarizing all the 10 articles, all the details that we read, right, through the 10 articles. So we will be taking all this information into just one table. So it's called thematically focused table. So by looking at those, that thematically kind of focused table, it's really easy to start the literature review writing the literature review part, right? So then the step 7 will be prepare the first draft of the organizational approach of the writing, and then start the writing, and then finally you will edit and rewrite, maybe revise the writing again. So that's the process that we need to follow. So this will be happen many times, right? So I'm not saying that this is just one time process, right? Each and every time when we conduct the study, or maybe within the one study, if we are searching relevant information, this will be the process, right? So that will be easier for you to save your time and then focus on your study, and then start of retrieving relevant information sources, relevant literature for your study. Okay, right. So then we'll go and figure out all these steps with the example. Then it will give you a nice idea for you to carry out your own literature review. Okay, right. So the first one, as I informed you, it's a develop search terms. So developing the search terms. So here I'm going to play a very small video clip. I think those who represent from the other study group, you may have watched the same video as well. It's okay. So this video will give you the nice idea about how you should start your searching. So before you come and access your database, come and access your Google Scholar, right? So better you have to have the pre-planning. So that's what it's telling. So please thoroughly look at this video clip and then identify. So what are the stages that you have to follow before you start searching, right? Okay.
This video shows you how to get from your research topic to keywords. So for example, let's say that your research topic is the wage gap for women in America. Your first instinct might be to put that into a search box and just Google your whole question, hoping you'll save time and use some of the top results as your sources. But that is not the way you do college level research. Why? Because while some of the information you find on the open internet may be useful and reliable, these are mostly not academic sources. So, how do you find academic sources on your research topic? Use keywords in library databases. Step 1, find your keywords. Pick out the main concepts in your research topic. Here, that's wage, gap, women, and America. That's all for step 1. Step 2, expand your keywords by finding synonyms and related words. Brainstorm and use a thesaurus to come up with more keywords. Think about the terms in academic research you are most likely to use. Small word for each of your main cues. Think also about the broader concepts. For example, this question is talking about discrimination, bias, and sexism in the workplace. As you do research, you might come across more keywords. Mix and match your keywords in a library. See these two fields? That means it's keyword time. Start to mix and match your keywords and see what kind of results you get. Add a new line for another keyword to focus your results even more. So, just to review, you'll take your topic and keywords. You'll expand those keywords with synonyms and related words. Then you'll mix and match your keywords in a library database. Happy searching.
Okay, so hope you have identified the steps as shown in this video clip. So that's the pre-preparation, right? So I would like to request from the participants, if you have not muted your microphone, could you please mute your microphone, because it will easy for us to focus on the session, right? So as you can see from the screen, and then as you already watched the video, so you have already identified what will be the pre-preparation plan, right? So before you start searching, that means there are lots of works you have to do. So not just thinking like computer or the databases or the Google will give everything for you, right? Don't think in that way. So you have the all pre-preparation plan with you, and then start with making synonyms, right? By looking at maybe some of the thesaurus and so on, right? So look at all these possibilities, okay? And then before you start searching in front of your computer with using your Google Scholar or databases, so then have the proper synonyms and keywords, and you can expand the keywords, and then you can mix and match with the keywords with the inner library databases, or maybe if you are searching Google Scholar, because not everybody have access to the particular library databases, right? If you are doing a postgraduate study, or if you are a student in a particular university, you should have an ability to access the very good research databases. But if there are research students, those who have not access to such information, then there will be other pre-information sources online available, maybe digital libraries and so on. So there, before you start all the things, that's the pre-preparation plan for you. I hope it's very much clear. So if you are starting your literature review process next time, make sure that before you go and search things with the Google Scholar or other information with the library databases, come up with the pre-planning activities, right? Then you know where you are going, right? Which kind of keywords that you are using. So it's really purposive. That's the searching with the purpose, right? And the second stage is about if you already developed the search terms, then the second option will be search using terms like Boolean operators, or maybe the filtering options available in the databases, right? So, okay. So before we move and search articles practically, so I will let you know the search strategy is very simple way, right? There are many more ways of doing searching. So you can have the phrase searching, that means as a sentence, as a statement. You can write down your research topic, or maybe whatever, right? Whatever you want to search according to your study. So you can search in that way. That's the phrase searching. And maybe you can use the quotation marks in between. You can place your search term in the middle, and then you can use the quotation marks in order to search the exact term from the Google search engine or wherever, right? And along with that, the Boolean operators are really important for finding information, for searching information through online databases, right? Online platform, right? So you may already heard sometimes Boolean operators, some may not. So I will let you know a very simple way. So what is the focus of using Boolean operators, right? So that's the important strategy that we should follow when we search information through online platform, right? So the Boolean operators include three operators we call and, or, not. So as you can see in the screen, if we use an operator, right? So I have given the example saying that archaeology and tourism. That means I expect, right? I expect from my online searching, I will be able to retrieve articles that contain all the terms. That contain all the terms mean archaeology and tourism together, right? So that's why we use the and term in order to narrow down our search result. Just simply imagine that when you search your Google Scholar or maybe databases, first time when you search your key terms, right? You maybe end up with 4-6 lakhs of search result, right? So then as a researcher, we won't be able to access everything. So we need to narrow down our search result. So AND operator will be the best suitable thing that we could use with our searching, because it will narrow down our search result. Right, then the next one, next operator called O, right? If we use O Boolean operator, that means it retrieves articles with any of the terms. That means I have given the example here, archaeology or tourism. So one time I may retrieve the articles related to the archaeology, and maybe other time tourism. So everything will be there as a search result. So that's why we use the O operator in order to broaden our search result. So if you, when you start your searching, if you retrieve very lack of information sources, lack of research articles, then try your keywords, right, with the O operator. Then you will be able to expand your or broaden your search result. And the last operator is called as a not Boolean operator. So that means here I have given the example archaeology, not tourism. That means I expect all the search result with the archaeology, but not any of the information related to the tourism, right? So that means, again, if we use the not operator, it will again narrow down our search result. So that's the kind of a strategy that we could use. And apart from that, there are a number of filters will be available along with our advanced searching facilities in the relevant databases, or with the advanced search option in Google Scholar and other search engines, right? Okay, so this is the kind of a strategy that again you need to build up, or maybe train yourself with those skills, right? So then I will quickly stop from here sharing the presentation slide. Instead of that, I would like to carry the practical environment, and then I will bring you to the practical environment to show you how we could expand or narrow down these searching along with our keywords or with the synonyms, and also by using such search strategies, right? So we will quickly look at that one. I will share the Google site quickly. Here we go. Right. I will share this one now. Okay. So this is a kind of a good way to start our academic research papers, right? If you do not have access to academic databases, at least start from the Google Scholar. Please do not try to find research articles from Google's general search engine, right? So instead of that, please use Google Scholar. So anybody can type the Google Scholar and then you can come into the same area. And also, if you have the Google account, I mean the Gmail account, so that will really help you to build up your own library as well in Google Scholar. So I'll show you how to do that. Right. So just assume that this is the Google Scholar, and then I want to search maybe online education, right? Okay. So that's my kind of key terms that I'm attaching, or maybe trying to retrieve information for my study. Okay. Right. So now you can see that in the screen, it will show you how many search results that you took at the first stage, right? So this number of search results are there. So you know that as a researcher, we don't have time to go through one by one because it's too much. And then what we have to do? So probably I can use maybe online education. I want to see in the context of Sri Lanka, right? So then I'm trying to use, I would like to see online education and Sri Lanka, right? So then we'll see, right? So we got, we reduced that search result into half, right? So we have this number of search result now, right? So if I would like to narrow down more, then I would be able to, I'll be able to use other strategies as well, right? So then what we can do again, in the Google Scholar, there is a place for you to go to advanced search engine, right? So you advanced searching. So there is a small lines going on here. You can click there and you can go to advanced searching option, right? Hope you can see that advanced search box. Can you see it?
Yes, madam, we can see.
Okay, right. So then it's asking the exact phrase, right? So if we need that exact phrase means, can you remember earlier as I informed you, we can use the quotation marks. We can use the key terms or maybe the search terms using quotation marks. So that's where we recommend exact terms for the searching, right? So likewise, here also we can give the exact phrase. So here I would like to see online education in Sri Lanka, and then I would like to move looking at kind of cultural responsiveness, right? How that online education culturally responsive in the Sri Lankan context. So I can give maybe cultural responsive here, right? Okay. And then it's again asking at least one of the words, and only without the words. One of the words means we can use some of the terms with O operator. Or if you want to use some of the terms with not operator, then we can use without the words, right? We can use that not operator here, the term. For example, if I'm saying that online education in Sri Lanka, this cultural response should be there, but not in the Indian context, but not in the Asian context, other Asian context, right? So we can use in that way. And there is a place for you to search articles according to the author's name. If you know some particular author's name, then you can type their names. And also the according to the publisher, there is a place for you to do that. And we can also use the date between in which date that I'm focusing on. For example, like I would like to see latest information, then maybe 2019 to 2021. Or maybe 2020 to 2021. It depends on you and your purpose, right? I'm just saying, okay, I would like to see articles from 2019 to 2021. And if everything okay, then I can click on this search option, right? Okay, so now you can see that. So I got the search result up to 5. So within very less a couple of minutes, so I was able to find out my relevant research articles. So these 5 actually, one by one, I can go through, right? Because I have time to go through these 5 articles, right? So we actually started with very huge number of research articles, very huge number of search results, but now I end up with 5 results. Definitely, those articles will add a value for my study. So then I can read leisurely and I can save the items for my future reading, right? Okay, so then the next thing that I want to share with you, each and every time when you come into the Google Scholar and start searching, that's again wasting your time. So there will be other strategy that you could follow. That's why I said if you have the Google Gmail account, you can use the My Library option here. Can you see from the screen that one? It's like this. So in this corner, you can see My Library, right? Ramani. I will mute that participant's microphone first. Hold on. Okay, now that's fine. Right, so then you can click on this My Library option in order to save these articles, right? How we could save such a search result, Google Scholar search result into My Library. That means you are not wasting again, maybe tomorrow, if you need to search again articles, you are not going to use the synonyms and key terms and everything because you have end up with 5 search results. But if you want to expand or maybe the expand search results, then you will actually start again searching. But if you're happy with 5 results, then you need to save those into your library, right? So you can see that there is a small star marks here, right? So you can click on there. If you think that this research paper is really important, then you can click on that. So that message already pop up save to my library. And also if you think that, okay, second articles, yes, not really important. Probably I would like to go through this one, right? And then you can save. And you can see that after we click on these star marks, it's already turned into blue color. And when I click on this My Library option here, you can see that just now we already saved those 2 articles. It's in my library. So each and every time when you come into the Google Scholar and then click on this My Library, so these articles are there, right? So if you want to remove from the My Library, then you can click, you can select, and then you can click on this delete option. But if not, you can still keep it those stuff in the My Library. So that's again another important strategy to save your time. So you can use the Google Scholar as much as possible and also save your items in the My Library and refer these articles later on for your research purpose, right? So that's one way. And again, I would like to focus yourself, not only search those articles in Google Scholar. So there I am focusing on those who have not access to academic databases, right? So if you are not using Google Scholar, or if you are only following Google Scholar, please give your attention to use or refer article, or maybe retrieve articles, search articles from Microsoft Academic Search as well. So there you can see there are a very good number of publications available, and also they all are under the academic writing, academic journal articles. It's like free, right? Free access. Academic articles are there. So then you can access those, because if we search everything from the Google Scholar, we again going to limit it ourselves, and try something else as well, because it will give lots of advantage for you again to find out lots of information related to your study, right? So this is one example. You can try later on accessing all this information. And the other important thing is, again, so the Elsevier, it provides the SSRN search facility, right? So you can use this SSRN search facility in order to find open access journal articles, right? So the Elsevier provide that opportunity for you, because it's a it's kind of articles that we can, those articles are written by researchers, those who are spending in their early career, right? So those articles can be grabbed from SSRN. So that's one possibility again for you to check out later on. So there I have given the idea for you, not only Google Scholar, but try probably Microsoft Academic Search as well as this SSRN, because those can be actually recommended site for the researchers to access academic articles, right? So I hope you got some sort of idea from that too. And then now again, I'm moving to the presentation to show you the other step of the roadmap. Okay, right. Okay, and yeah, I will actually go and show some of the articles from the databases as well very quickly, because we only focus on the Google Scholar and the Google Scholar site, and there is opportunity for other participants, those who have access to library databases, right? Library databases, academic databases. So you should have opportunity to use those as well very effectively. So I will now share that one before I move to the next slide in my presentation. Use that one. So since I'm representing the University of Kelaniya, our university libraries are providing various opportunities for the students and the academic staff related to the improve their research career, as well as for their other purposes, right? So there are lots of very nice, very innovative services given by our library, but I'm pretty sure that those who are representing the other university libraries, they also have the most of services going on as e-services, basically that because of this COVID-19 situation even, right? Okay, so if you have the access to the library databases, I'll quickly show you how you could do so. Just assume that these are the library databases available in our university, and I would like to go and access this Ebsco host, right? So they are asking our username and password. That's why everybody do not have access to such library databases, because we should have a username and password to access those. However, if you are doing the postgraduate studies, or if you are a student attached to the particular university, or maybe if you are academic, those who are attached to the particular university, definitely you have the access right. So you can follow that too, rather than searching information from the Google Scholar or the Microsoft Academic or SSRN and whatever, right? Okay, so I'll quickly log into the system. Right, here we go. Okay, so now you can see the Ebsco library databases as open, and then it's again asking from the user whether we would like to access such sub databases separately, right? Because Ebsco include different databases, right? Again, so if I'm representing the library and information science, I have the rights to access this database only. But basically, I would like to search all, because there is a lots of opportunity to grab all the information from all the databases, right? So then I will select all and click on continue. Right. So here, so these are the options available for us to search. And as you can remember, we already learned about the what we call Boolean operators, right? Boolean operators. Now you can see that's there. Boolean operators are available. So if we know about all these strategies, we could definitely use them in order to grab the quality information, right? Okay, here also I would like to search online education as an example, right? And then you can see along with that, we can actually figure out whether I'm going to use that online education from where. Do I need to represent that I'm expecting that term in the title or somewhere else, right? If I know the author, then I can name the author as well, right? So I can give the exact place that I am looking that word. So online education, I would like to see it in the title, right? And then I'm going to use this one first. Then we'll see how many search results we will get. Okay, now you can see that this number of search results, 2,429 search result already there, but it's again too much because I don't have enough time to do it. Right, then I will go into this second line and I will use and, that because I know that according to the Boolean operators, and will narrow down the search result. And I will use with the and or online education in university, right? Here we go. So that will be come up from the any field. It's okay. Then I will click on search tab again. Right now you can see that's reduced up to 1,656 again, right? And then there is an advanced search option here as well. So I would like to see basic search, advanced search. So I can click on this advanced search in order to give more options, more filters with that, right? So here I would like to give maybe, I would like to see full text, and also I would like to see all the research articles from the peer-reviewed journals, because I definitely know that it will again add the advantage for the research process as well. Okay, click on that. Right. And yeah, again, I will narrow down the search results according to the date of publications. So I would like to see articles from 2019 to 2021 again. So if I have given all these stuff, there are lots of things that you could again manage by yourself. You can narrow down search according to your wish. Right. Then I would like to click on the search option. right. And okay, now you can see that the 1000 search result, right? Again, narrow down up to 102. So how nice it is, right? So it is 102 now. So it's again a little bit too much for me. And then I was thinking, yes, I'm looking for online education in the university. And as you can remember, when I do the Google searching, I had another key terms with me. It's a cultural responsiveness. So I would like to try that one as well. And I would like to use the operator and operator because it's again narrowing down my search result. Right. I will type the cultural responsiveness. Yep. Okay, cultural responsiveness and then search. Okay, so it's not searching in that way. So instead of university, I would like to take this one to here and then we'll see. Okay, so it's too much narrowing down. So we'll see the other search result. Okay, we was there. University and probably I will search university education, maybe culture, at least to see that one. And then click on search. Yes, so it's up to 5 because I was thinking culture means I want to see the cultural responsiveness actually. So you already show that if I give that search term like cultural responsiveness, that other authors may not use the same term. That could happen. That's why we have come up with the synonyms and key terms. So instead of that cultural responsiveness, I use just only term called culture, right? So there will be something else talking about the cultural responsive inside of that paper. So if I have the less number of articles retrieved, so I have the opportunity to go one by one and then see, right? So those articles will be definitely again value for my study because I know that it started from 4,000 search result and then now it's up to 5. So it's pretty easy for me to go and access them, right? So if I want to see the search results, search history again, so you can click on here, search history. It will show you how many times we have spent on the databases in order to grab the relevant articles, retrieve the relevant information. So you can see we have started with this number, search 1, search 2, search 3, and so on. And then finally search 6, I was able to end up with 5 search results like that. Okay. Right. And you can see from the left-hand side, there will be other filters, right? So you can, according to your own wish, so you can use those filters as well. We can give the source type, databases, right? And as well as we can limit into the, according to the time frame and so on. So I hope you have got the idea what I am trying to say, right? So start the literature review with the search terms, and then we have actually practiced how are we going to search information through freely available online platforms as well as from the databases that's available from the academic institutions, right? So now I will quickly move into the next slide of my presentation. So then we will be able to carry out very quickly, right? Here we go. Yeah. Cool. So we have already completed that one, and we'll move to the stage 3 of the roadmap. So what's that? It's called identifying initial primary sources on the topic, right? Okay, click on that. Yep. I will move into right, here we go. Yes, I will share that one quickly. Sorry about that. Okay. So this is the step 3, right? And what are the best sources? Okay, so as you can see here, I have given 3 original sources or 3 primary sources in order to help with your study. Actually, I'm not focusing here just as a primary sources, maybe textbooks or the other reference materials, right? There are a number of information sources are available for us to use. But for the research purpose, I would like to focus on these 3 areas, because apart from the normal textbooks and the other information sources, these 3 types of primary sources will again add advantages for your study, right? So the first one called empirical peer-reviewed journals, theoretical journal articles, as well as literature review journal articles. So if we are searching information, if we are looking at the relevant research articles through databases or through the online platform search engines, so please focus on accessing those primary sources for your research project, because it will again give you the nice clue or maybe the nice information for your study, right? Okay, so what's mean by empirical peer-reviewed journal articles? Right, so empirical peer-reviewed journal articles means you know that the normal, how that normal study going on. So there will be the abstract, right? In the normal literature review paper, not the literature review paper, in the journal article. So it's come up with the abstract, and then there will be the introduction, there will be a literature review part, right? So it shows you how that particular study conducted, and then their analysis stage, findings, conclusion, and recommendation. So all the structured things were available in the empirical peer-reviewed journal articles, right? So in the term from the empirical, which indicates that the research was based on the maybe systematic observations, experimentation, or the experiences. That's the normal study that we all are carrying out. So in that way, empirical peer-reviewed journal articles will show you the research questions, relevant literature, and the methodology they have used, and the findings, conclusion, and further recommendations as well, right? So this is one type of journal article. I will review the other 2 as well, and then I will again practically show you 3 examples related to these 3 types of peer-reviewed journal articles, right? So if you want to search all these information related to peer-reviewed journal articles, focus on that. Do not go here and there, because it will again save your time, right? And the next one is about theoretical journal articles. So it's different from the empirical peer-reviewed journal articles, right? In the theoretical journal articles, what's the focus is based on the theory, maybe theoretical model. There are a number of journal articles published based on particular theories, because there are revisions versions coming through. And also, for example, if I'm looking for the theoretical model related to the educational platform, then there will be number of models available. But I want to figure out what will be the best shoot for my study. So then, without wasting my time to find out the empirical research article, I would like to see theoretical journal articles, because the focus of the theoretical journal articles will be there, right? So they only discussing about the particular theory, how it's derived, and then what are the changes, what kind of variables that have been added to the previous models, and so on. Okay, right. And the next one is about literature review journal articles, right? The third one. So the literature review journal articles, again, different from the first and second, right? So those type of journal articles basically shows us they are the process of the literature review that they have conducted. For example, if it is the systematic literature review process, then shows us what are the key terms that they have used, how many databases they have used, and then what are the findings they found from the literature, right? It's basically they conduct the study based on the previous literature, right? And then it will show us how they have conducted that study. So those are 3 different areas, but according to our own study, time to time, we need to figure out such areas. Okay, right. Then I will show you examples of these 3 journal articles quickly. Yep, here we go. Right. Okay, so now you can see, I'll see the, yes, so this is an example for the empirical peer-reviewed journal articles. So as you can remember, I have mentioned 3 types of primary sources there, empirical peer-reviewed journal articles. So if I show you this one, so you can see the topic is there, authors are there, the abstract is available, introduction part is there, and literature review, and also the literature review is going on, and the methodology is mentioned, right? And the data and sampling process, data analysis, and the results and discussion, and also finally about the conclusion, right? And references. So you are very familiar with this type of structure, right? These type of journal articles will called empirical peer-reviewed journal articles. We normally familiar with these stuff, but you need to think about, apart from this one, there will be other 2 sources also available, because you are not focusing on those 2 again. Because if we are familiar with those 2 types of journal articles, without wasting time, you can focus on those journal articles, right? So then the second one I have discussed about the theoretical, what we called, theoretical based journal articles, right? Theoretical peer-reviewed journal articles. Okay, so here, this is one example again. This is this article is talking about Hofstede's cultural difference model, right? In this article, we won't be able to see the structure that we already discussed from the empirical peer-reviewed journal articles. That structure is different. Okay, so the abstract is there and the introduction is also there, right? So instead of having literature review and so on, so it's talk about the theory, right? It's talk about the theory, not something else. And you can see there are different subheadings used, but also every subheadings focused on the theory, right? And here we go. And also you can see, the cultural and non-cultural categories and so on, like that. And at the end, there will be the conclusion. But everything based on the theory, not something else. But if you want to see particular theory for your study, then you should be able to identify without wasting, find empirical research journal articles. Please go and find theoretical based peer-reviewed journal articles, right? Okay, so the third one, it's about literature review, peer-reviewed journal articles, right? So this is one example again. So it's again different from other 2 earlier. So this, the theory, what they are talking about, okay, so the technology acceptance models in educational context, and it's a systematic literature review. So it shows you, those authors shows you that abstract is there and introduction is there. And they talk about the theory bit, and also most important thing is they will show us the way they have conducted the study, right? For example, here, research method, right? So they have given, so what are the databases they have gone through, right? And then what are the key terms that they have used? See, this is the structure. So it's called systematic literature review. So in that paper, it will show the audience what kind of strategies they have used to conduct such systematic literature review. So as a researcher, if you want to follow up the systematic literature review, then there is a nice guideline, right? There will be many more articles based on those stuff. So you can focus on that. So if we are aware of these type of primary sources, then definitely you will identify, yes, it is time saving, right? Without wasting your time, you can approach into the focus. Okay, you can approach your own objective, right? So this is look how it looks like the literature review journal articles. You know that they have discovered the Ebsco databases, right? And then how many sub databases they have used, and then it has shown you how many search results, and then how many duplicate items they have removed, and unique titles, publications, and then they have ended up with 71 primary studies. So they have conducted that systematic literature review based on 71 primary studies and will advertise or will publish their results later on. Results after that, like this. See, the analysis was there, right? Like that. So that's all based on the literature. Okay, so I hope you got the idea on that too. And then I will again move to the presentation, right? Okay. And the last one, right? So here, before I move to the next one, I would like to consider this stuff as well, because according to these, maybe the COVID-19 situation or maybe the advancement of the ICT, information and communication technologies, you know that there are lots of predatory journals are available in the academic arena, right? So then please be careful of accessing those articles, right? They are not giving such value, such quality input for our research. So you can definitely understand about the predatory journals and publishers, because you need to aware of that. If you want to publish your research articles, please do not access those predatory journals, predatory publishers, right? It's not only searching information, but also regarding the publishing as well, right? So those articles can be easily identified because there are lots of grammatical mistakes, lots of I mean the very, very complicated ideas going on, and it's not, the academic writings are not visible, right? And then I mean, there is item. I'm going to talk about this one again, because after you search all these information and then end up with maybe 40, 50 research articles, by evaluating them, you should be able to remove such unwanted stuff and then end up with the quality, at least quality 5 papers. That's also fine. Even if I able to find quality 1 journal articles, that's also fine. Why? Because that 1 journal article has quality journal article has include number of references in their article, right? Please go and try to access them. Search one by one the reference list they have used for their study. So that will again add the advantage for us rather than using the predatory publications. Okay, right? That's for your own information. And the last one related to the section 3. So when you know about the how to stop that looking for the particular sources, the term that we are calling like saturation. Saturation means the time where we sacrifice about our searching, right? So then stop the searching, because you have to have some strategy to do, stop information searching and then go into the other step, right? Otherwise, I mean that students also working in the same scenario. So they will start searching, and they don't have enough time to read and write. So when we ask them to submit the second and third chapters and so on, so within 2-3 days, they will try to do that, but it's not the process, right? So do not waste longer time for the searching, and then stop searching when you are reached to the saturation level, right? How you could identify the saturation level? So when you do the searching again and search again and again, you will find the same articles, same authors everywhere. Whether you find different keywords or synonyms, if you end up with the same search results, same familiar literature, familiar journal articles, then that means you have reached to the saturation level. So stop searching and then move into the next stage. Okay, right. So then number 4, read, abstract, and narrow the sources if needed. Okay, so I'm not going to talk longer time here, because you all are familiar about what's included in the journal articles, right? As we saw in the earlier example. So these sections are there: abstract, introduction, method, finding, discussion section, conclusion, and reference section. If it is an empirical peer-reviewed journal articles, those sections are available. So then after you end up with the maybe 4, 5, maybe 10, 15 research articles, right? Try to figure out which one is most suitable for you. Maybe by looking at the abstract, maybe by looking at the method section or maybe the conclusion, whatever, right? So it depends on your information. This information that you are searching, right? So if you are very keen about identifying your research problem, then focus on their area, right? If you are very keen about identifying maybe the methodology, particular way, how they have conducted study and so on, so go and read that method section and then see if it is suitable or not. If it is not, just forget about it, right? And after you filter those relevant literature articles, relevant journal articles for your study, then a start of summarizing in paragraph form each articles, right? So these are some of the examples I have given. And for example, what is this article about? Just like in summary, because we need to know what is the really important of that article, right? So what kind of methodology they have used, what is the purpose of the article, what they have found, what are the further recommendations, and so on. Okay. And I will actually show you some of the example document. Yeah. How that summary looks like, because I promised you to show the examples as well. Here we go. Right, just assume that this is the kind of article, right? So it's about the mobilizing victim services, right? And so this is the kind of article that I have received for my own purpose. And then I will end up with the summary looks like that. Here we go, right? So this is the example of that paper, right? So it shows us the reference, right? Reference, as well as this paragraph will explain whole about the article, right? Whenever, wherever we read, then we can imagine how it looks like that article. So what is the most important part? The purpose and the way they have conducted the study, methodology they have been used, major findings and recommendation, and so on. So after you filter in your most valuable research, relevant literature for your study, then start writing the own summary of their articles, right? So that's a good way, because it will again inform us in many ways, right? Okay, and I will again move back to the presentation. Sorry about the disturbance. Right. Here we go. And yeah, our next item is creating a thematically focused table of summarized information, right? So what's meant by thematically focused table, right? So that's the starting point of writing and your excellent literature review, right? In the thematically table means after you reading this such number of articles, research articles, maybe just assume that 10, right? So after you reading all these articles, you should have an overall picture of the study. So that's the nice way, right? And then you can actually start with the different stories, that because you have the information with, in a backup state, right? So you have all this information, and you know that when you make your own argument, just very quickly coming to your mind, yes, that article A and article C, that authors have explained the same thing. So I would be able to get all this information to prove my argument in such a way, right? So that thematically based table will guide you to do that in a very quick way, right? Otherwise, we should go and see again and again those articles, right? So I will again show you that thematically tabled document just as an example, right? Then if you want to develop such thematically based table, you should be able to do so, right? So that thematically based table, it looks like this, right? So we should have a main statement. Without having or with the main statement, you can carry out this thematically based table. Then original source 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 means these are the articles that I have ended up with after my searching, right? And then each article you need to give the idea about the article purpose, what is the research question, why that article is important, theory. Maybe you can develop this based on your own summary as well, right? And what is the sample, they use size and data, key definitions, what is the analysis technique, findings and additional key terms, or maybe the further recommendations and so on, right? Okay, so then I will again show you the table that they have the completed stuff. Here we go. Yeah, it looks like this. I'll show you. Yes, here we go. Yeah, this is okay. So now you can see this is just an example, right? So the summary of kind of empirical studies. So this is kind of thematically table again, right? So it shows you the study, the aim, research design, sample, key findings, and critique. So you can do the literature based on these stuff. And also when you are writing your research paper that you will be able to use the same as well, right? So that table will again inform you a lot regarding your literature review, and then how you are going to add them into your research paper or the conference paper or your research or your thesis. Okay, right. And we will move to the next slide again. So that's called a thematically focused table, right? And number 7, 8, 9, we are in the last stage. So the after you create your thematically based table, right? So then you are ready to start your writing. So that's the preparation stage. So what you have to do in the preparation stage? So you need to identify the organizational approach of your literature review, right? So here I would like to give you the nice clue, because most of us students, they think that we need to focus on the other researchers' name, because they write their literature review based on that author's name. So it's come first. But that story is missing. So that reader will be in the really disaster to identifying what that student wants to say, what that researcher wants to explain, right? So that's why this scenario is really important when you organize your literature review, right? Think about those two approaches, whether you are going to have the descriptive organizational approach or chronological organizational approach. So if it is if it is a descriptive organizational approach, that means you are giving more descriptions along with your literature review, right? So the example looks like this. So that introduction, the main topic will be, this is just an example, victimization risk and personal characteristics, right? So if so, there will be more subsections: gender and victimization risk, race, age, and also finally, it will again align with our study, saying that the proposed study and why it is important, because we need to show that the gap and then where my research is going on, right? So that's called descriptive organization. So if you are happy to conduct your literature review section in that way, feel free to do so, right? And the other one, so along with that, again, definitely you are integrating relevant literature to support your argument. And the next stage is chronological organization. So that means it's time-based. It's time-based, right? So you can see the example is given below, right? So the example is given in this screen. And so it shows that era 1, era 2, and era 3, era 4. And then finally, it shows again the proposed study and why it is important. So that means some particular type of research requires to organize their literature according to time period, right? If it is so, then you can choose the chronological organized literature review, not the descriptive type. But you need to be aware of those two and selecting the most suitable one for your study, okay? Right, and also to write that one, to write, whether it is organizational or the chronological strategy, chronological order, in order to write that information literature part very well, you can follow up this meal writing strategy. I hope maybe some of you are very familiar with this one, meal searching strategy, right? So that means meal means main, M means main idea. We need to always represent the main idea first, and then provide the evidence, and then analysis part, and then link that literature that we use to our own study. So again, what that students, they are going to miss those linking part as well as the analysis. So they just provide the main idea and evidence, but the analysis and links are unavailable. So then how are we going to identify the most important of the literature review section, right? So something going to be missed. So you won't be able to miss all these things if you are practicing these meal writing strategy. So you can have meal. If not, as I can mention here, you can have ME first. That means main idea and evidence. Again, main idea and evidence, main idea and evidence. And at the end, you can have the analysis part and the link. So that's also possible. So it's again depend on how we are going to carry out. So these are one of the examples for those two structures. I got the same example that I showed you earlier, right? In the left-hand side, you can see that meal is there, right? In the introduction means that's the main idea. So subsection 1, 2, 3 provides the evidences. And subsection 4, the proposed study and why it is important, means it shows the analysis part and linked into our own study. So that's the way. And within one section, again, we can follow up the meal strategy. So you can see how it's nicely structured when we write our literature review process. So section by section, again, we have that meal idea, and within one section, right? For the full structure, as well as one by one, each subsection, we could again follow the meal strategy. So in that way, you will be able to write up very clear, nice literature review for your study, or maybe for your conference paper. Right. Yeah, then the last two items, write the first draft and then edit and publish your literature review part. So that's up to you, because please do not write that just literature review in one time. Read, write it, and then read again, and then do the proofreading, and then editing, revise it, read again. So if you can understand that section for you particularly very well, then it will be easy for the other readers to understand as well. And without reading many times, do not submit your chapters to your supervisors or for the conference publications, right? Read, write, and then read, and then revise, and then resubmit it, okay? So that's where we are going to end up with the process. Right, and yeah, so these are the common pitfalls with the literature review, normally saying that students do not have enough time to do that, and there is a very lack of failing to focus on different themes and the organizational structure, right? So if you know that if your structure is going to be more organized way, chronological or the organized way, so then you can see what will be the best suitable structure for you. And the quoting problems, how you are going to do the in-text citation and then justifications, right? So now we are moving to do the referencing, citations, because that's the end part of the literature review. So we have enough time for that. So we'll do along with this, okay? Right, so for the referencing part, so that's where that reference, citation and reference is linked with the literature review, because each and every time when we write the literature review, so we have to have in-text citations. And then at the end of the conference paper, or maybe at the end of the thesis, you have to add the reference list, right? So what are the strategies that we could use to organize such things in a very quality way and also time effectively, right? So there will be lots of online reference management tools available, for example, Zotero, Mendeley, and also if you are not familiar with the online reference management tool, you still have opportunity to use the Microsoft referencing tool, right? So I'm now trying to focus on that practical area. I'm trying to use two. One is Microsoft Word referencing, and the other one is Zotero, right? Okay, so I will stop the presentation and I will share the Microsoft Word document instead of that. Here we go. Right. Okay. Right, so hope you all can see the Microsoft Word document properly. Right, okay. And you can see there's a file, home, insert, and there are a number of tabs going on, right? Under the reference tab, right? Under the reference tab, there is a section called, I'll highlight probably, then it will be easy for you to understand. Here we go. So you can see this stuff here. Right? So you can see citation and bibliography, right? So that's where we are going to focus on now. Yes, okay, right. So you know that whether we are writing our literature review section or when we start our writing, thesis writing or conference paper writing, right? There is a particular reference style that they expect. Maybe from the conference organizing committee, or maybe from the thesis submission for your academic writing purpose, right? So your academic qualification. So before we start the referencing in the Microsoft Word or other referencing tool, we should be aware of the style. Hopefully, I mean, in our university, we actually focus on APA style, and maybe at the other universities, it could be Harvard or whatever, right? So first thing you need to do is under the reference management tool, under the citation and bibliography, make sure that you change the style accordingly, right? When you click on this style, so you can change up to the required format, right? There will be APA, Chicago, Harvard, IEEE, MLA, and so on. So if I'm going to work with the APA, then I will select the APA one, right? And also, the second stage will be, right, adding new sources. For example, in order to add the new sources, we need to write something new. Just assume that I will actually get maybe information from somewhere else, right? Okay. Cool. Right, just assume that. Okay, so I'll copy paste some of the text from one of my documents because I don't have time to quickly write down everything, right? Here we go. So this, just assume that this is under my literature review section, right? It's called chapter 2. Chapter 2, literature review. Okay, right. So this is going to be chapter 2, literature review, and under that I am having a subsection. And in that section, there is, yeah, so this is what I'm going to write. You also trying to write the same thing in a different way according to your own research, right? Okay, so saying that I got this text that because I need to show you how we are going to do the in-text citation and then how are we going to add the bibliography, right? References, right? So saying that literature review, I have a subsection, what is the growing need for skilled information managers, and then I have added the statement saying that information is considered a fundamental resource for improving the quality of governance and promoting socio-economic development in developing countries. So as a researcher, can I do full stop and then start my second sentence? No, we can't. That because as a researcher, I can't say like this because I should have I should prove this, or I should have a back support from the literature to support this argument. Because I am not the expert to say this one, because I have done I have done the research in this area, right? So as a researcher, what you should say, you need to get the support from the literature to support this argument, right? In that way, just assume that you need to add some sort of reference in-text citation here, right? Now you are going to the references tab in the Microsoft Word document, and then you click on insert citation, right? So there you can click on this add new source, because we are going to add new sources manually. Like that, we are trying to build up our own Microsoft Word document references, right? Okay, so for that one, I think I have read, just assume that journal articles, saying that journal article is written by Fernando. I have given wrong information here, K.A. And that article is written by 2 authors, and I want to add other author as well. You can click on this edit option here, and I will add the last name like Pereira, and first name may be D.A. at, right, and then okay. So you can see that 2 names will already added, and the title will be that article, probably higher education in information management, something like that, right? And then journal name will be International Journal of Education. Sorry, Education. Right, year 2020, and pages maybe 13 to 24, like that. So I have given all the required fields in the referencing tool, and then I can click on OK button. So now you can see that just immediately that references already added to the document. So that's called in-text citation, right? Now I can give the full stop and then say whatever I want later on. So then I can say, yes, right. And okay. So then again, I am saving, I'm taking full of text and do it quickly. Right. So then, yeah, I'm trying to say like this. Okay. Right. So I have given that the next statement. Okay. After that, I can say like in Sri Lanka, information also rapidly growing as a result of the government development initiatives. Again, I should require some sort of references for that to prove my argument, right? Okay. So then I'm going to add one more. Now you know that how you're going to add citations to your Microsoft Word document. You can click on this insert citation always, and then you can click on add new source to add the source that you have already read. So whether it is a book, whether it is a peer-reviewed journal articles and so on, whatever the thing, then you can manually include all these details here and then click on this OK button. Then it will add into the same place. So that's the same scenario you have to practice. And instead of that, just assume that you have different Word documents, and then you have worked with different references in different Word documents. But when you work in the one Word document again for your research purpose, you can also grab other references that you have added already into the other Word document. From where you can do so, you can click on these manage sources, right? You can click on manage sources. I'm going to, yeah. So just assume that, right. So you can see the master list is here and current list. So the master list means these are the references that I have added into my different Microsoft Word document, right? It could be the research paper, conference paper, because we are working with number of Words document now, right? So then I'm not trying to include each and every references manually one by one, because I can use the pre-added references as well, right? In that way, I'm trying to take this one, Higher Education 2019, and then I would like to add into my reference list in the Microsoft Word document. And I would also like to add this Hofstede one, and I'm also select that one and then copy and then it bring into the other box, right? So if I'm happy with these stuff, and I'm just thinking I would like to see information literacy and copy. So that's also in the list. Current list means the current list that I'm working on this Word document. Okay. So then I have already chosen whatever I want for the reference list, and then click on close button, right? So when I click on this insert citation, you can see the number of references are now available here. Those are, I have not added just now. I have used pre-used reference list. Okay. So then assume that in order to prove this argument, I would like to take this one. Just these Fernando and Pereira have given this one, right? So maybe Cranfield, like this. So you can see that Cranfield, Pereira, and Kumara has proved that a statement. So I have added that. So for example, if I want to add one references here to prove that argument, and I'm going to insert citation, you can do add new source. If not, you can go into the other source. Okay. Probably this one. Now Jones 7. So like this, we can add the reference intake citation to our writing part, right? So this is how we develop our literature review. So it's a writing part is there and intake citation is there. Or each and every time, whether you are giving the very solid statement, please do not use the stop. The full stop and then move into the other sentence, because before you do the stop, full stop, you need to give the evidences, right? How I am going to prove this statement. So for that, you need to get the support from the literature, right? So then assume that after you have done all these stuff, right? After you have done all these stuff, okay, you need to add the reference list. So then just assume that you have already finished your literature review part, your chapters, and maybe you can add the references chapter by chapter, and no, maybe at the end. So if you are writing the conference paper, probably at the end of the conference paper, right? Okay, so this is where we are going to add the reference. And for that purpose, you can click on bibliography option here, right? When you click on bibliography, you have 3 options, right? So the bibliography, references, and work cited. So these are different information. So if I click on this bibliography means, you know that under the insert citation, if I have added so many references, materials to this list here, if I click on bibliography option, all these materials will be shown in the list, right? But in the research writing, we are not using bibliography. Instead of that, we are using the references. References means whatever we used for the intake citation, the full citation will be available in our reference list, right? So according to your purpose, again, you can try different sections. But for the research writing, I definitely know you need to use the reference list, right? So I would like to click on this reference. Now you can see I have done anything by myself, and then I have not done that reference list manually. Instead of that, you can see it's well organized according to the chronological order, according to the A to Z, right? And the references are there. So whatever the intake citation available in this paragraph, it's already available here. Okay. So within very few minutes, I was able to add the reference list. So then as a researcher, I don't want to too much worry about these full stop marks, the what we call the comma, right, brackets, and within brackets, out of brackets, where I'm going to use the full stop and so on. So it's already ready-made, and that system will help me to do that, right? So each and every time, so we are not considering like after we add the reference list, we won't be able to add other intake citation. No, you can add any time. So whatever the thing that you want to do, after you add everything, each and every time you should come and update citation and bibliography. Then automatically this reference list will be updated, right? So that's how it works. And yeah, so that's how it works in the Microsoft Word document. So if it is clear enough, I would like to use the other reference management tool. And before I move into that online reference management tool, I will explain you why we require those two, or maybe why not only using Microsoft references. Actually, if you are early career researcher, Microsoft Word referencing are most suitable for you. So you don't need to worry about online research, online reference management platform, right? So if you are starting your research project, if you are starting your research just now, it's your first stage of doing your research, just stick with Microsoft Word references. However, if you are not staying at the same stage now, right? Year by year, you are improving. So at the end of your uni life, so you will be going to the society and then do the work for some company or wherever, and you need to do some research as well. So whether you join with the university as an academic or something like that, right? Or maybe the researcher in some particular company, firms, right? So you can carry out your research project, or maybe not only for your research project, but also there are a number of reports, writing, and everything going on. So those who are representing not their early career research, but they are representing their academic career, or maybe those who are doing research for the commercial purpose, or maybe research for the postgraduate studies and so on. So that's where you need to focus on using online reference management tool. Because if you use the Word reference management tool, it's like a standalone system. So if you want to add the references, you need to have your own laptop or the desktop, right? If you are working in the university by using another computer, and if you are using that Microsoft Word package over there without copying and using your own document, you won't be able to access that references later on, right? For that purpose, you need to have your own laptop and on your own your Microsoft Word documents and so on to access that previous references and so on. So that's the kind of limitation. But for the early career researchers, that should be fine, because they are not too busy with the other tasks. So they can work in their own computer and then finalize the research project or the research paper. But others they are moving, right? So for example, I mean, if it is not the COVID-19 situation, so we will be go here and there, no, right? So one day will be Kalani, another day will be Colombo, and then maybe Peradeniya, maybe some to other country or something like that. But we should be able to carry out our references wherever we go. So that's the most important part, to be used such online reference management tool for that purpose. Okay, I hope you have already identified the basic objective of using such tools. Right now, I will show you how we are going to work with the what we call Zotero, right? There are two options, Mendeley and Zotero, but I will use the Zotero for this purpose. Yep. Here we go. Okay, I'll share the view with you, the screen with you. Right. Okay. So now you can see, hope you can see the screen properly. Yeah, so this is the online reference management tool, right? Zotero. So anybody can search this term in Microsoft, maybe in your search engine, right? Whether it's a Google Chrome or the Mozilla or whatever, right? You can search Zotero and it will open up this similar website, right? So there, first what you have to do, there are some stages that you need to work on. If you are using that Zotero first time, what you have to do, you need to download the Zotero into your computer, right? So you can click on this download option, and then you will come to this site, and you can see there is a Zotero 5.0 for Windows, and If you are using Windows operating system, OS, then you can download this version. But if you are using Mac version or maybe the Linux, so accordingly, you have the different platforms as well, right? You can use them. And not only this download, but along with that, you need to use the Zotero connector as well. So I'll explain why you need to have a connector differently, because this online platform always work with your browser, right? So you need to link your desktop version library, Zotero library, with the online version, right, with the browser. So you always search information through this browser, right? So if you are working in the Microsoft or maybe the Firefox, right, you need to install Firefox connector. But if you are using maybe Zotero connector for other browsers, so if you are using Google Chrome, you are not going to download this Firefox connector. You should download this Chrome connector, right? If you are using Mac computers, then you can download this Safari connector and maybe Edge connector and so on. So it's available. So based on your browser that you are mostly working on, you can actually choose whatever the Zotero connector that you are going to download, right? So these are the 2 steps that you need to complete first. Okay, hope you can remember. First download the Zotero 5.0 for your computer, and then download the Zotero connector that you are using mostly that you are using with your browser. So that's the one you need to download, right? So after those 2 is successfully completed, then try to have a account in the Zotero, right? So for that purpose, you can click on this register option. I will show you that one as well. I'm not going to do it now because I have my username and password, and also I have already downloaded. So I'm not going to those steps, but I definitely know as an adult learners, you will have the opportunity to go through those steps by your own. Okay, right. So then here you can give your username and email and everything. You can register in Zotero site. After you have the login username and password, so you can log into the system by using those stuff, right? And after you log into the system, your name will be appeared on the website, right? So then I will again explain you why we should have a online account in Zotero. Because as I earlier said, wherever we go, so we access the email from anywhere, no? Right? It doesn't matter whose computer and wherever where I am going, right? I do not use my own laptop. I can access email from anywhere, from any place, right? So likewise, if you have the Zotero online account, you don't need to worry about your local laptop, your local computer, because your local computer is already syncing with your online account, right? When I click on this, when I click on my account, right? So you can see I can go to my library, right? So this is the online library, right? This is the online library. So I can access my online library from anywhere, right? It doesn't matter whether I'm using my own computer or not, right? So, and also I will now share my desktop version, because that's where we normally work. Our desktop version, time to time, automatically it's synchronized. It's syncing with our online account. So then we won't be able to have any problem whether we are working in the local platform or the online platform. That's all information is everywhere, right? So that's the very nice thing while we are using such online reference management tool. Okay, so I will now share, instead of this one, I will now share the my desktop version of the Zotero. So after you download your Zotero reference management tool to your to your computer, you will be able to see the same screen, right? There will be a Zotero mark on the on desktop, so you can double click on it. And after that, this kind of environment will be open, right? So you can see there is a file, edit, view, tools, and there, right? Such number of things coming on. I'll let you know quickly the most important stuff, right? So here you can see there is a folder mark there and my library option is there. Since this is a reference management tool, it's really good to have a management approach here. For example, whether you are doing your first degree or the postgraduate study, you can have the folders according to your chapters, maybe according to your postgraduate studies, or maybe master's, PhD, your first degree, likewise, or maybe according to your conferences, right? Also, you can have organize your folders. For example, if I want to use a new folder for my ICLIM conference, so I can click on this folder and then that means I'm going to write a extended abstract for the ICLIM, and I'm trying to save that relevant references into that folder, right? Okay, so I'm going to name this one called ICLIM 2021 and then click on OK. So you can see that ICLIM 2021 is there, right? So it's nothing here still because I have not added anything, right? So if I go into the other folder, for example, if it is a technology, right, you can see there are a number of articles saved in this reference management tool, right? So if I click on one, you can see probably if I click on this one, you can see those are the information. Those are the entries according to such article. There's a title, publication, volume, issues, and so on. So how are we going to add them? In the Microsoft Word document, you showed that we added everything manually, right? But the nice thing about using such online management tool is each and every time we don't need to add manual entries. Instead of that, we can save all the materials just by clicking one icon. I can save that same details into the reference management tool immediately. I'll show you how. There are lots of options. So if I'm using, yes, Zotero is free, right? Zotero is free. You don't need to pay for this one. And if I want to add item entries manually, still there is an option for you. I'll show you everything because you need to have a clear idea on it. And this one, so it's 12 o'clock sharp. I will take maybe another 5 to 10 minutes to wind up this session, right? So hope you will allow that time for me, right? So if you click on this icon here, yeah, so if you click on this icon here, you can see there's a manual form, right? If you want to add items manually, you can click on this book section, journal articles, and so on. If I click on journal article, see that area has opened. So you can add the title there, right? So if it is, that's the manual way. How are we going to add the references to the system? And if not, you can actually search some of the DOI, right? So DOI numbers, for example, if I take digital object identifier, right? So I'll take the DOI number from one of the research articles, and I would like to save that one here, right? Okay, so I'm going to copy DOI from one article and then trying to search here. Okay, so here I would like to click, and then I'm trying to search that one because I have copied one DOI from one of the article, and then I'm trying to add that one into my ICLIM folder, right? Because it's nothing there, right? Here we go. And then after I copy and paste that DOI into that link, I can click on the enter button from the keyboard. So it's taking time to upload that things. See, it's automatically added that document into the Zotero, right? So I just only copied that DOI and then paste into the system. So it's automatically came that all details into my reference management tool. And I'll search now one of the things via web browser, and then I'll show you how you are going to directly save that research article into your library, online library, okay? Right. So just assume that, yeah, I'll share that one very quickly. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to Google Scholar to maybe get some of the articles from there, right? Okay, so I'm going to my library and just assume that, yes, I would like to go and see this one, e-learning resources for migrants and refugees. Right, so I have downloaded that article when I'm searching information, right? And then you can see there is a Sotero mark here, right? Can you see that in the top of the corner? Sorry. Here, you can see it. Here we go. So you can see here, there's a PDF mark there, right? So you can see that very clearly. When I click on that, so that means it's going to save to Sotero, right? Sotero, my library. So when I click on that, so it's processing, you can see that. It's a correct mark was there. That means it's already added into my Sotero library. So I'll now again go move back and then share the Sotero library instead of that one. Let's see. Here we go. Right. So now you can see that earlier I was only having just one article where I copied that DOI and then added into my library. But now that article was also there, right? So e-learning resources for migrants and refugees. So it's automatically added. Just only one click on from the browser, right? So it's now you will be able to see how it's pretty easy to maintain our library, our reference management library here. And the other important thing is, can you remember when we use our roadmap for the literature review? There I was asking in level stage 5, 6, and 7, you have to have the notes, maybe the summary, thematic table, and so on. So if you are using such reference management tool, you can see in the left-hand side, in the information side, it will show you the bibliographic details of that relevant article or the book. And there is other 3 items here: notes, tags, and related. So that's where it's pretty easy for us to conduct the literature review while using such online reference management tool. Okay. So if it is a note, that means you can click on add. So this is where you can take the summary of that article, right? You can write the summary, add the summary to here. Then it will, you can see that summary is already open under that e-learning resource document. So you can read and write this summary, right? So what is this about, and so on. And not only that, for example, just I can say this article is quickly, right? This article is focusing on e-learning theory, something like that. I just write down and then it's already saved. So that's how adding notes. So we can add always summaries while we are reading the research article. And after that, you can save that one. And also there is a tags option, right? So you can see that when we click on tags means you are giving keywords, right? So why keywords is important? You can see from the screen, there is a place for us to search information. So just assume that you have the reference management tool with 600 articles and journals, right? So then how are we going to select the best suitable article for my research, right? So if you have already added some of the keywords along with your research article, it's pretty easy to search from the search box, right? So that's really important thing. When you are using such online reference management tool, try to add tags, that means keywords. So I can say, I can add here e-learning and so on, right? So that's done. And related means, it's again really important when you click on relate add button here. While we are doing the literature review survey, can you remember that thematic table? So there I was asking what is the main theme. So if it is a main theme related to the e-learning theory and so on, I would able to see the other relevant details, other relevant articles along with this article. That means this article is focusing on e-learning theory. So I am finding other related articles. So for example, if I am saying under the technology, this article will also help, then I will add this article too. So that means when I'm doing the literature review, I know that along with this article, there will be other few articles discussing the same. So it's pretty easy to organize. And also you can see the last couple of minutes, and you can see this section here, this very green color one, that's the sync button. So if it is a green color, means now it's already synced with my online account, right? So whether I use the desktop version or the online version, all the information are everywhere, right? Okay, so that's how it works. And then finally, I'll show you how you are going to add those references into Microsoft Word document. Okay, so then we will be able to end up the session. Right, so I will use the Microsoft Word document correctly. Right, here we go. And I will share that one. Okay. Yes, this one. So if you right, so if you downloaded your yeah, like this. So if you have downloaded your Zotero correctly into your computer, then you will be able to see that Zotero icon, right? Zotero icon is available in the tab, under the tab, right? Zotero, like that. Okay. Right. So then just assume that, okay, I'm going to Zotero library, right? You can click on this Zotero, and there is the add edit citation option is there, right? So likewise, like you earlier tried, for example, the same thing, I will copy it from there, right? Right, just assume that you need to add the references here, right? So then you need to click on this edit and citation option, and it's again asking the reference style as well, right? For example, here we go, document preferences, right? Yeah, you can, when you use the first time that document as in the Word document, you can also change the APA style and everything from here as well, right? And then you need to add the references here. I'm not so sure you will be able to see the other pop-up window. Can you see that Zotero searching bar? I don't think so. It's okay. So but you can see when you click on this add edit citation here, right? There's a search bar is coming up. There you can search some of the information, some of the author's information, title, and so on. So you can click on that and just assume this one, and then click on enter button from the keyboard. Sorry, that's the wrong one. Yeah, I'll use that one again. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, this one here, and then click on enter button. See, so that's again automatically added, and then I will repeat the same thing to add the other references, and I'll show you how it's built up the reference list as well. Right, just assume that I want to add one more reference there. Here we go. Okay, like that. For the same thing. Right, like this. Okay, so then I have added the same way 3 references, and then at the end we need to have the reference list. So you can see there's a add edit bibliography option is there, corner of the left-hand side, right? So then I can click on there. So this reference list will be automatically added, right? So you can see these three, we have added 2 authors, right? Connolly and Pereira. So these references have been automatically added into the Microsoft Word document. So that's how it's working. I think with this, all this information, you will be able to try it by from your side and then practice it and then figure out how it works for you, right? So I think that's the end of this session. I saw some of the questions already pop up into the chat box. We'll see how are we going to address it. And yeah, so if you want to clarify anything on the spot, I would prefer to give another 1 to 2 minutes and then we can wind up the session. Yeah, anything that you want to clarify? If I want to ask one of the questions from the chat box, I'll select at the same time. Yeah, so it's time for you. Any questions? Yeah.
Hello.
Yes. Yes,
when we add in DOI into the second row, then abstract will be automatically downloaded on the second row.
Yeah. So when we copied that DOI into, I mean, if just assume that if you are searching those information on the spot, actually, so you don't need to copy the DOI and paste it, because on the spot you can save that from the browser, no? So most important thing is just assume that you have already downloaded documents available in your computer, right? Now you can't see where you have downloaded those stuff. So if you have that DOI in that papers, so it's pretty easy for you to copy that DOI and then put it into the Zotero and then get the full details to the Zotero library. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Hello, ma'am. Can
Yes.
you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, ma'am, out of this Zotero and Mendeley, which one do you think will be more useful and convenient to use? This is the first question. And the second thing is that, ma'am, this statement of the research problem should be written after conducting the literature review, right? These are the 2 questions, ma'am. Kindly address. Thank you.
Okay, Krishna, thank you so much for your questions. Yes, in the first one, yeah, the second one, actually, you asked about the research problem and the statement of the research problem and the literature review. You can actually, you need to anyway give the background information relevant to your research problem, because, I mean, immediately we may not be able to show the research problem, right? Because we have to have the evidences. In order to identify the research problem by your audience, by your readers, you need to give more information. So then that the literature review means the literature review part also comes before the research problem as well. So it's not, we are not categorizing the heading as literature review, but we will have the separate subheadings, subtopics, right? So then they are also, when you write some kind of a statement, as a researcher, you won't be able to keep it as it is. So you need to again prove that statement, no? You need to again support that statement with the published literature. So then literature review again will support. And then if you were able to explain that all the things very well in the introduction part or the background to the research problem, then finally you can come up to the represent the research problem, right? And then maybe the literature review. But it's good to have the background to the research problem earlier and then come up into the research problem. Or if you are happy, then you can add the literature review part on the top of the research problem as well, right? But normally what we focus on, we'll give the background information to the research problem first. They are also we are adding references. and the research problem, and also giving more information with the literature review. Okay, Krishna? And the other question that you're asking about, what is the most suitable options from the as a reference management tool, whether it is Zotero or Mendeley, they both are well working. And also there is a other online reference management tool called Doctier that's also working well. So those three are really famous in the world, Mendeley, Zotero, and Doctier, right? So they have different preferences and different what we call appearances and how it's working, right? But based on your own technological skills and so on, you can select actually whether you would like to use the Zotero or Mendeley. Anyway, you don't need to use two reference management tools, just only one, but based on your capacity. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
This is a good job as a MSc student. Actually, I need to clear something.
Yes.
Can you show a little bit when we put the images and charts on the paper? How can we do it?
Images and charts for what?
For our master's degree program, when we use some images and charts for our analytical analysis part.
You mean the what we call the captions for the So the captions, I mean, it's actually if you are using some of the sources for the captions, that's the same way that you have to add, like in-text citation, right? For example, just assume that you got the map. So you got the map from the another source, right? And then you need to add that, you need to give the title for that map, and also you need to give the source, right? So when you are referring the source, again, you can do the same. You can add the the references that we did for the in-text citation, okay? And if you are not adding the source for that graphs and charts, right? So if you think like it's already developed by your own, right? So then there won't be a source name. So for that, again, you can use the Microsoft actually Microsoft caption option, right? Microsoft caption option to have the figure content and the maybe the table content separately. So that's two different things. Is it okay, Nadisha?
Okay, ma'am, clear. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Right. Right. So then we have took long time, and then it's nearly 12:20. Yes.
Excuse me, one more thing. While lots of positives comment on chat box, Dr. Namali, you did the amazing presentation. Topics is very vast and information, but you very clearly, step by step, conducted with a very informative example. I would like to take this opportunity to salute you, ma'am. My end of, my end, no any questions because everything's are crystal clear. I'm really, really proud of you. Thank you very much organizing such a series of webinar before ICLIM 2021. Best wishes.
Thank you so much, Dr. Harshini, and thanks for joining with us as well. And also, I would like to thank everybody for your active participation, and also for the organizing committee for organizing such event as well. Okay, so then, if you have any further questions, I think I would love to share my email address, because we don't have enough time to go to each and every questions right now. So if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. I have given that in my email address into chat box. Okay, cool. Then thank you so much. And thanks for your active participation again. And also, I would like to say, please conduct your research with the quality. That's the quality output is really important. So, and stay safe. Okay, thank you so much. And I wish you all the best for your future upcoming research activities as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and my congratulations for the second webinar of ICLIM 2021 webinar series. The entire session was very successful and inspiring, so all of us attentively participated. On behalf of the Department of Library and Information Science, all our priorities gratitude goes to our today's resources person, senior lecturer, and head of the department, Dr. Namali Surveera, for making today's webinar session a success with a scholarly contribution. Thank you, madam. And also, we are very thankful of our conference chair, Senior Professor M.K. Veerasinghe and Senior Professor W.A. Veerasurya, and all other staff members for their value, advice, guide, and freedom we receive all the time. The contribution of our ICLIM organization team as well as the ICLIM task force is the always admire. Last but not least, the comment and question released by our audience brought the session into the success. Our conference date will be 26 November 2021. We accept extended abstract will 3rd of the September. You can go to our website for more details. The link will be available the chat now. So many thanks to all of you and have a nice day. Thank you, madam.